Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. How are we all?
Baruch Hashem. Who's with us? Who's with us? Let me just give me 1 second and I can see. Oh, Norman, how's it? How are you? I see Dr. Liz joining us. Dr. Augustus Novik joining us. Stephen Kabetsnik joining us. Dr. Liz joining us. Gabriel with us. Oh, we have all the doctors here. Hashem.
I was subscribed tonight.
Good. So everyone is with us, Baruch Hashem. And Baruch Hashem, Dr. Les given me good news. Dr. Les, thank you for giving me those good news.
Yeah, it was good, Rabbi.
Baruch Hashem, that things, please God, will come right. Okay, so what I'm going to speak to now. Oh, Philip, are you with us? Philip, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for joining us, Philip.
Hello, Rob.
Thank you. With us. Louis, hello.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem, Yom Yom. So nice to see you all. So what are we going to speak tonight? I'll tell you what I'm going to speak tonight. First of all, I'm going to mute everyone so I can talk because there's noise in the background. It's very difficult for me to speak while there is noise, so if you don't mind. So what are we going to speak tonight? Tonight we're going to speak, I'm going to bring the Gemara in Baba Metzia, and the Gemara speak there regarding bread, eating bread for breakfast, and what's the value and the nutrition that Hazal teaching us in the Gemara in Masechet Baba Metzia, how important is that to eat bread for breakfast. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that's what we're going to speak. So I would like just to take the opportunity and just to tell our friend Mark. Mark, please prepare your Chumash because I need you to read it in English. And if you don't mind, the Chumash going to be in Parashat, in Sefer Shmot, Parashat Mishpatim, chapter 23, verse 25. Mark, are you okay with that? Mark, can you hear me? I need you to prepare your Chumash because you're going to read when I tell you. I know that we don't do in Parashat HaShavua. We are doing a different subject. The subject is bread for breakfast. And
I'm going to fetch my Chumash at this moment. Hang on a second.
Okay, good. Fetch the Chumash. And I'm going to give another few minutes for more people to join. We have Dr. Gabriel with us, Dr. Les with us. So I would like actually to hear their comment if from a medical point of view, if they done any study about it. But that's for later on when we're going to open the microphone and then we can ask questions, and please God, the doctor's going to give us their opinion and their help. So, Be'ezrat Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach v'Hashem aleinu berachamav yarviach. I would like to dedicate the shiur to Rabbi Tenza, Harav Avraham Chaim ben Eliezer Yaakov, Leilui Nishmat Mordechai ben Rahma. That's Moti, our friend Moti, that joining us. Got Moti Bafri. Leilui Nishmat Esther Kaden Bat Ketzia וכל שאר עמו ישראל. ולרפואת, now we're going to do in health, לרפואת גולדה איטל בת שולמית לאה, בן ציון בן מרים, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, ליאורה בת מרים, וכל שאר חולי ופצועי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם. אוקיי. So, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח והשם עלינו, או לעילוי נשמת אסתר בת משה הלוי. בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. The subject of the show.
Just say the chapter again, Rav.
I'm gonna, it's Sefer Shmot, Parashat Mishpatim, chapter 20.
What chapter?
Chapter 23, 23, verse 25. I'll tell you when to read it, okay?
I'm just getting there.
So, Hazal tell us in the Gemara something very interesting. Hazal tell us that like this. Hazal and Gemara in page 107, folio 2. They reveal to us very important secret regarding the importance of eating bread for breakfast. I'm going to read it in Hebrew and then I will translate it. So Hazal say in a Gemara like this. 83 חולאים תלויים במראה, וכולם בפת שחרית, במלח וקיטון של מים מבטלתה. What does it mean? A person that eat breakfast, okay, that include bread and salt, obviously because today our bread is made with salt. In the olden days, they didn't used to do it with salt, so they used to dip it a little bit to give it a bit of a taste. And water, it will help to prevent 83 diseases, mainly of the intestine. That means Hazal revealed to us, when you eat bread for breakfast, okay, that will help you to prevent 83 different diseases.
Oh.
And we have to understand, what is it? What are we talking? So Hazal said, by that you eat bread for breakfast, and after that you drink water, that will help you to prevent 83 different diseases that can affect the intestine. Hazal continue in the Gemara and say, Hazal give us a matter of fact now, 13 benefits that a person can get from eating bread for breakfast. And listen what Hazal say. Zoche, that a person that merit to eat bread for breakfast, let's see what he merit for. Number one, merit for metzila minahom. What it means metzila minahom? That the person not easily will get a temperature. That means not going to get sick so easily. Mitzelet minatzina. That means a person that eat bread for breakfast, that will help him, okay, to prevent from getting sick. What it means, tzina, get flu. Eating bread in the morning can help you to prevent flu. Number 3, metzila mina mezikim. What it means mezikim? It prevents you and doesn't allow the evil forces to come to you, demon. Listen what it says, metzila min hazikim. What it means zikim? Before we say mezikim, now we say zikim. Zikim, it's a wind. Quite often people have the Rambam saying it, and the Chinese philosophy, the medication of the Chinese, they build it all on a wind. That means that people can get sick. For example, we know that Hazal tell us in a Gemara that a person shouldn't leave his house and have a shower in the morning and leave his house while his hair is wet. Why? Because that can affect him to get sick. So you should dry your hair before you leave home. So here Hazal said, by that you're eating bread for breakfast, that will help you to prevent getting sick from a wind. Let's continue. Mahkimat peti. Mahkimat peti, that the person become smart. How a person can become smart? When a person leave home and go to work without eating on an empty stomach, he can't think straight. Hazal say that if you eat bread for breakfast, that can help you to get smarter. Zoche badin. What it means, zoche badin? That means that if he have an argument in a court, he can win it. That means that argument, people will listen to him. Listen what he say. Zoche lilmod Torah. He'll merit to learn Torah. Why? Because his stomach is full. And when the stomach is full, a person can think properly. Dvarav nishma'im. Number 8, dvarav nishma'im. What it means, dvarav nishma'im? That people accept what he says. He says something, people listen to him. Why? Because he's full, he's satisfied, and whatever he say it benahat ruach, with calm. He have calm, he can think. Talmudo mitkayem beyado. What it means, Talmudo mitkayem beyado? That means that he will remember what he studied. a person that eat bread for breakfast, listen to that, how important. He will remember what he studied. Number 10, besaro eno ma'ale haval. What does this mean? That a person that eat bread for breakfast doesn't have smell from his body. Never mind the mouse, that usually from the breast a person gets smell. He tell you that the body himself can generate smell, but that you're eating bread, you can prevent the body from getting smell. Okay, listen what he said, what else? Number 11, הורגת תולעת שבמעיים. That means that we know that sometimes people get worm, and those worms, they're inside the intestine. So that bread that you eat for breakfast, not only that prevent that worm, it will kill. הורגת תולעת שבמעיים. It will kill that worm that you have inside your intestine. Number 12, מתגבר על יצר העריות. That means that he can control his inclination or character trait that people have for immorality. Number 13, and listen to that, that's for שלום בית. נזקק לאשתו ולא לאישה אחרת. That means that husband only needs his wife. He doesn't need any other woman. That means that the person that eat bread for breakfast, that can create shlom bait. And I'll tell you another secret while we're talking about shlom bait. Hazal revealed to us that the person that eat breakfast with his wife in the morning, it's very good for their relationship. Not only the physical relationship. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that it's bring them closer one to each other. Breakfast together with the wife, it's a remedy for shlom bait. A person wants shlom bait, many people looking for it, eat breakfast with your missus. Okay, that's until here, it's Hazal with the benefit. Hazal continuing saying, Mark, be ready. Hazal telling us, you know, where is the source from the written Torah? Until now, we brought the oral Torah. Oral Torah is the Gemara that we brought in Baba Metzia, Kuf Nun Amud Bet. That means 107, folio 2. Hazal continue in the same page and say, I'll bring you a source from the written Torah. Where is it? It's in Sefer Shmot, in the book of Shmot, in Parashat Mishpatim, in chapter 23, verse 25. Hazal said, the Torah tells us like this, ועבדתם את השם אלוהיכם, וברך את לחמך ואת מימיך, והסרתי מחלה מקרבך. בכבוד, Mark.
You shall worship Hashem your God, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I shall remove illness from your midst.
Okay. Hazal in the Gemara explained that verse like this. Hazal say, ועבדתם את השם אלוהיך. What it means, ועבדתם את השם אלוקיכם? That you should worship your own God. That means that when a person say Kriyat Shema and daven the tefillah, Amida. And then after you finish that, what's coming? וברך את לחמך ואת מימיך. That means after that, after you daven, okay, then you can eat the bread with salt, with anything that you want to drink. Hazal used the analogy for water. That person should drink water after that. Okay, that means that he will bless. What he will bless? He will bless your bread and your water. How is the pasuk ending? How's the verse ending? והסירותי מחלה מקרבך, and I shall remove any sickness from you. Funny enough, if we take that verse and we see how Hazal and the Gemara connected the Torah shebe'al peh and to Torah shebichtav together beautifully, Maran Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo. Rabbi Yosef Karo born in the city of Toledo 532 years ago in Spain. in a Shulchan Aruch that he wrote in Simam Kuf Nun Hey, 155, verse 2, the Maran Bet Yosef says something extraordinary. Maran Bet Yosef says like this, Kodem Shilech LeBet HaMidrash. Before a person going to Bet HaMidrash, Yochal Pat Shacharit, he must eat breakfast, bread for breakfast. What does it mean? That means that the person, after he finished to daven, okay, he must first, before he go to study, he must eat breakfast, okay, what it must be? Bread. And then he ending up, V'yatchil lelmod, and only then he can start studying. So we see from here that the Maran Bet Yosef actually telling us that to eat bread for breakfast, it's not soon as you wake up, you done netilat yadayim, you wash yourself, you clean yourself, you dress, and you go to eat breakfast. What Hazal telling us, said the Maran Bet Yosef, that first of all, before you eat breakfast, you daven. And the Zohar says, lo tuchlu al adam. What it means? That until you daven, the blood that we have inside our body, said the Zohar, he speaks in a higher language and a higher form of language for us to try to understand that the blood in our body is not pure. If you want to go a bit higher, how does it work? Why you're not allowed to eat before you daven? Because the blood that we having, because we slept all night. And when we sleep, that's why we do netilat yadayim, because Shana is a had mishishin lamita. It's one of 60 for that. So Hazal said that the neshama go up to heaven. And when it go up to heaven, Hazal explained that the neshama become impure because we have the feeling like we are dead for a split of a second. Okay. So Hazal explained that that time that you eat, you can't eat it until you daven. Why? Because before you have to purify it. What do you have to purify? The blood. How do you purify your blood? By that you davening. And that's what the Zohar tell us. Lo tuchlu al adam. Come the Maran Bet Yosef and reveal to us. When you wake up in the morning, after you vas, after you dress, first of all, you davening. You say Kriyat Shema, you say the Amidah. Obviously, that's what the Maran Bet Yosef say. But we have to daven all the Shachrit. After you finish Shachrit, before you go to Bet HaMidrash, or before you go to your business, or you go to job, that's the time to eat the Pat Shacharit. That means to eat bread for breakfast. Now, the Pri Megadim, it was a book that been written by Rabbi Yosef ben Meir Teomim. He born in the city of Lalov in Poland 293 years ago. And in his book, Pri Megadim, he explained what is the minimum quantity that a person should eat in the morning, the bread that he should eat for breakfast. So he said like this, צריכה להיות לפחות כשיעור כביצה. That means it has to be at least the quantity of an egg. What is the egg? It's 54 grams. And after a person finished to eat, ישתה מים או כל משקה שהוא. That means after you finish to eat the bread, after you finish to eat 54 grams of bread, then you can drink. If you want to drink water, you want to drink tea, some people drink coffee, and etc. It doesn't make a difference. Only then you can drink the liquid. So what do you learn from here? That bread for breakfast is very important. And the quantity, minimum 54 grams. She'or kabeitza. Why dafka she'or kabeitza? Because she'or kabeitza, you have to have netilat yadayim with a brocha, number one. Number two, you have to say hamotzi. And then obviously birkat hamazon. So all of those things come together. Okay. Now that we learned that, when is the appropriate time that a person have to eat bread for breakfast? Okay, so Hazal tell us like this, זמנה של פת שחרית, the time that a person should eat bread for breakfast, מתחילה מיד לאחר זמן קריאת שמע של שחרית. That means it's immediately after the time that you say קריאת שמע. ועד, until when? ועד שעה לפני חצות. It's an hour before midday. חז"ל continue and say, ואם אכל פת שחרית אחר חצות, but if a person eat his breakfast, the bread for breakfast after midday, חז"ל say, אין לסעודה זו שום ערך תזונתי. That means that breakfast that you eat after midday have no neutral value. That means no nutrition value. That means all what Hazal told us in the Gemara, in Masechet Baba Kama, what we learn, and Kuf Zayin Amud Bet, that means 107 folio 2, if you eat it an hour before midday. Okay. Hazal continue and say, and I'm going to bring again the pre-Megadim, that they explain that when is the appropriate time to start say it? It's from the time that you can start davening. That means from the nets, the moment that you can start the nets and you can start davening, from that time, that's become the appropriate time that we can eat pat shahari, the bread for breakfast. The pre-Megadim continue and explain to us what happened with those that cannot eat bread for breakfast, for whatever reason is it. It's too heavy for them, it's too difficult. So the pre-Megadim bring that a person, שמי שאינו יכול לאכול פת, יכול לעשותה על ידי עוגיות. A person that cannot eat bread, he can fulfill that kind of a breakfast that we're speaking about by eating cookies or eating cake. What do we learn from here? We'll see now what are we learning from here. Come, the Gaon Hida, Rabbi Yosef David Azulai. Rabbi Yosef David Azulai, born in Jerusalem 296 years ago. And he say what we're speaking about, al yedeh ma shenikra achilat burekas. What it mean burekas? It's a pastry. Burekas everyone know. But it's not the burekas that we thinking that you buy only in a shop. It's a pastry that sometimes filled with cheese. Some of the pastry can be filled with vegetables. Any pastry that baked, okay, that's what they're referring to. A pastry that been baked. And that's the chokhmah here. So we're learning that the main thing that you should eat in the morning, it's the 5 grain, okay? That's hita, seora, that hita is wheat, barley, and etc. All the 5 grain. It doesn't make it different if it's really bread or it's a pastry. Okay, until here. Now, I'm going to bring a different leniency. I saw a leniency that brought by Rabbi Avraham Butzatz. Rabbi Avraham Butzatz, born in the Ukraine 250 years ago. And in his book, Eshel Avraham, he actually became more lenient. And listen to what he said. He said that a person that drinks for breakfast tea or coffee, if he drink it with sugar, he make emphasis on the word sugar, that's enough nutritious to help him for breakfast. Although, that's only if a person can't eat bread for breakfast. So lechatchila, a person should eat a slice of bread, proper bread for breakfast, and then drink something after that. We see from Hazal, we see in a Masechet Baba Metzia, we see from Marana Bet Yosef, we see from all the poskim. Come the Pri Megadim and say, what's happening if a person can't? It's too heavy for him, a piece of bread. Can he eat a cake or cookies or a pastry like, say, the Gaon Hida? And they become more lenient. He said, if he can't eat breakfast, he can eat a piece of cookies or cake, that will help him to build the nutrition. Again, a person have to understand that he have to eat enough amount that he can say bracha achrona on it. And then we brought the third opinion of the Eshel Avraham, that he said that as long that you have with your drink sugar, and it doesn't make a difference if your liquid is tea or hot water with sugar, or coffee with sugar, or milk with sugar, it doesn't make a difference. As long that you have sugar, because the sugar is full of nutrition. Now, for 1 second, we have to stop, and I have to explain. What the Eshel Avraham spoke is 250 years ago. And what the Gaon Hida explained that the pastry, it was 296 years ago, that when they didn't have any chemical, today some of the sugar made from chemical, it's not 100% pure cane sugar that they make it. Some of the sugar today, it's well known that it's made by chemical. So we have to understand that things change, time change, also the food change, things change in the world, so we have to be careful. Okay. Now, before I end up, I want to tell you a story that I read about breakfast. And the story comes from Sgulot, in the book of Sgulot of the Baal Shem Tov. In chapter 2, regarding breakfast, bread for breakfast, it said there like this, כאשר באו תלמידיו של רבי אלעזר מנדל מיללוב. Rabbi Elazar Mendel Milalov, born in Poland 193 years ago. And they came to ask him for a blessing. They come to ask him for advice. They come to ask him for advice for health, general advice, and for proper atzlaha, that to be success. He told them that they should eat for 40 days non-stop. 40 days, full 40 days, okay, non-stop. 40 יום רצופים, that means full 40 days, יאכלו פת. They should eat bread for breakfast. And that's what they done. But one of the students suddenly started to feel better, and he decided, no, I'm not going to eat anymore. I have enough from eating bread for breakfast. It's a bit heavy for me. And he got sick. And he came again to the rabbi. And the rabbi told him, I told you to eat for 40 days, full 40 days, non-stop bread for breakfast. And I'm telling you now, eat again for 40 days, non-stop bread, and you'll see that you're going to feel better, Be'ezrat Hashem. And that's what happened. That student took on himself again to eat bread for 40 days, and he got healed. And he becomes stronger, and he have brocha and atzlaha in his way. Now, I would like to take the opportunity for those of you that have questions, first of all, to unmute. And I would like to ask the doctors, before you ask question, I just would like to ask Dr. Gabriel and Dr. Les, if they, when they study medicine, if they hear anything about bread for breakfast. I would like to hear their commentary. Dr. Les? Gabriel? Any comment? Gabriel doesn't want to comment. Gabriel?
Yes, David. Yes, David. Gabriel. I've never heard or learned anything about eating breakfast that will make you better. Obviously, it's a metaphysical thing because of the davening that goes with it and not necessarily the bread. So I don't see a medical reason for that. I see a more spiritual reason for it, yes.
Okay, so Dr. Gabriel said that he doesn't think that it's a physical, but Hazal explained to us that that it will kill 43 different diseases that can affect the intestine. So, okay, whatever the doctor said. I'm not a doctor. I can just quote the Gemara. So those of you that want to ask questions, please unmute yourself because there was some noise. So I'll mute everyone again and you can ask questions.
Okay, Rob,
Hello.
Yes, who's
it's me, Mark.
Yes, Mark.
The bread that we have today obviously is not the same bread as they had 200 years ago. So
Definitely.
Is the nutritional value any good compared to what they had in those days? The same as you talked about the sugar. The sugar is not the same, and I would imagine the bread is also not the same.
Nahon, but first of all, it's not 250 years ago, it's 2,500 years ago. The bread that they used to have was very rough bread. It wasn't as fine as we have today. And also, if you look at the white bread, it's full. The white bread that we're eating today, it's actually full of bleach. They bleached it. So nothing that I'm talking about, it's a proper bread that they used to do in the olden days. It's obviously not the bread that you buy in a shop. It's those nutrition bread that we have. You look at the bread, the white bread that there is today that they're selling, it's actually more like a puffy thing. It's like there's nothing. It's like.
But why don't we look at eating brown bread?
Obviously, there's many good bread. I'm not saying, but I'm speaking about the white bread. Very good bread that you can eat. There's bread that you can buy from Cesco that's full of nutrition, or any other one of the company. You know what I'm saying? And it's very healthy bread. Obviously, what we're talking about, what Hazal talking about, it's not the bread that's full of chemical. It's the proper bread that's made from proper wheat.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that today, if we eat bread for breakfast, we're not going to get the same nutritional value as they did in those days.
Obviously, but we have to try to get it by eating decent bread. That's what I'm saying. By eating decent bread, you get those nutrition.
Good, thanks, Rav. Yep.
Pleasure. Anyone else that want to ask question?
Hello, it's Anthony.
Yes, Anthony.
Why is it that you can have cereal before davening, but you cannot have bread before davening? You can have cereal before davening, but not bread before davening.
Okay, so I don't know who told you about cereal. There's a mahloket if you're allowed to have it regarding cereal. Because cereal, it's something that fulfills the body. And many of the poskim doesn't agree to it because you're eating halab. Although the halab of today, halab is milk. The milk of today is not the milk that the Hazal speak about the olden days. Because the milk today, and funny enough, talking about it, I spoke to Dr. Gabriel. Dr. Gabriel, when he was young, he lived in a farm. And he himself told me that the milk that they used to have, it's a very thick milk. It's not the fine milk, the pasteurized milk that we're eating today. And it was full of nutrition. I think that the milk that we have today, it's more milk that's been pasteurized, that passed special chemical or special, I don't know what they've done to make it so fine. So there is a mahloket, can you eat that or not? So most of the poskim say you can't eat nothing before breakfast. You're allowed to drink water, you're allowed to drink tea. Okay, the shaila become with sugar. Some of the poskim say that today you can have even sugar. And I saw that the psak halacha that brought Rav Ovadia Yosef, Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Libracha, that he said that you can even have tea with, coffee and tea with milk. Because the milk of today is not full of nutrition like you take it straight when you milk the cow, because it has a special process that you go through and pasteurize that it's the most of the nutrition gone already of it. You follow, Anthony? And then when it's come to cereal, I didn't see any posek that say that you can eat cereal. If you saw it, please send it to me. I would love to see it. You know?
So you can have tea and coffee before davening. That's for sure.
For sure. Not only for sure, 100%. With sugar and wheat milk. I'm giving you the leniency. I'm giving you all of them, and I'm giving you even the name. Okay.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Any other questions?
Yeah, Rabbi Levy, what about gluten-free bread? That whole range of
that's the best bread that you can eat. Gluten-free bread is one of the best bread that you can eat. First of all, there is no gluten on it. Gluten is one of the most dangerous things to a human being when you eat. It's a glue. What is gluten? It's glue. So if you can eat that kind of a bread straight after davening, there's nothing better than that. But if you ask me, can you eat it before davening? It's a different issue. Because when it's come to a woman, it's a different law completely. A woman just have to say Birkot HaShahar, and she can say straight Kriyat Shema and Amidah. It's a different to a man, because the woman not obligated to do all the davening that's obligated.
Yeah,
and that's
so
why
you can't eat cereal before davening.
You're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
I can hear you now, but I didn't hear what you
I'm
said.
going to mute everyone for 1 second. I'm going to mute everyone because I hear in the background there is some, can hear some noise, and now you're going to hear me better. What I'm saying that a woman, first of all, not obligated not to eat before davening. What does it mean? A woman in the morning should say Birkot HaShahar, number one. Then she can say straight, she can skip all the korbanot, and she can go straight to Psukei de Zimra, words from Ishtabah, say the Shema and the Amidah, and then she can eat breakfast. She doesn't have to daven the entire davening like a male. So the law of eating breakfast after davening, for a woman, it's much easier. Not only that the Mefarshim explain that lo tuchlu al adam, it's only for a male because he's obligated to daven. Woman not obligated to daven. In that case, if she really want to eat before, she can eat after she wake up. She done netilat yadayim, obviously. She said Birkot HaShahar, she can eat. There's no problem for that. And if you're talking about gluten-free, there's no better bread than that. I hope that I answered that question.
Thank you. You did.
Pleasure. Anyone else for question? Okay.
No, Rabbi, thank you so much, Rav. Thank you for a wonderful share, as always.
Okay. Guys, I hope that you're gonna feel better. Keep safe, and we're gonna see you again on Thursday night. We're gonna do a show on Parashat HaShavua Be'ezrat Hashem. Hope to see you.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Be well. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Shavua Tov, Rav. Kol Tov.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.